Is it time for you to make a big move in your life? Mommy and Daddy forcing you to get out in the real world? What they really want you to do is turn your speakers up because you're listening to the Millennial Movers Series podcast, hosted by Dallas celebrity real estate agent Jason J. Miles.
Each week, I'm bringing you the best advice, tools, and expert knowledge to help you move up in the world and build financial freedom through real estate.
So make Mommy and Daddy proud and turn your speakers up because it's time for you to join the Millennial Movement.
What up, what up, what up? It is me, Jason J. Miles. So excited to be back with you. So excited to be back with you for another episode of Millennial Movers. We are on episode 12. This episode is super exciting. I'm actually talking about how to get a bank to lend you money, which is a great topic. And so before I get into it and all that kind of stuff, I just want to really just have a moment with y'all and say thank you. Thank you for listening to this every week. I have some amazing episodes coming up here for you pretty much till the end of the year. So you definitely want to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button on your phone right now and please subscribe to this show because you want to get notified of every episode that comes after this one. And for those of you who have subscribed, give me a good rating. Just sit there and give me 5 stars. Leave a review if you're truly enjoying this content. Send me an email, tweet me, let me know if there's anything that you want me to feature on the show. But I really need to get some reviews. So it would really help me out. If you like the show and you like the content and you're already a subscriber, just leave me a really positive review because that's the only way I'm going to be able to push up the ranks on iTunes and be able to get more awesome celebrity guests like I have today. Yes, I have a surprise celebrity guest for y'all. I have here with me Brian McCauley. He's a loan officer here in Dallas. He's literally a celebrity here in Dallas. And so I'm going to have him give y'all some great information. He's the senior loan officer at the Oak Group, which is a mortgage company here in the area that I've done many deals with. He's such an awesome guy. He's been in the business for a good amount of time. Young guy like us with swag to the walls. If you're ever in the Dallas area, just stop by his office and shake his hand because this guy is the real deal. He's the leader of the McCauley team. And again, I couldn't be more excited that he's here on this episode, to make sure that y'all are getting the most valuable information. So I'm gonna let him introduce himself to y'all so you can get to know him, but look him up on social media and I'm pretty sure he's gonna say his, social media handles and everything. But Brian, what's up? Thank you for tuning in and being here with us.
What's going on, man? I appreciate the love and support. Yeah, things are good in Dallas right now. We're enjoying our lives, doing a lot of mortgage loans and getting people into houses. As you mentioned, yeah, you can find me on social media, find me a lot of places around town. Most of my handles are under Dallas Mortgage News, kind of like the newspaper Dallas Morning News, but we stay active, we stay trending. We like to give our people a lot of results and make success stories out of everybody. So we're having a good time, and I appreciate you having me on.
Nice, Brian. How long have you been in the business? Just to kind of give people a little background on you.
Yeah, man, I've been doing this for about 12 years. Started back in early 2005, and I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, man. So there's nothing I haven't experienced and nothing I can't get people through.
But you love it, though, right?
I love it.
Yeah, you're so good at it. Y'all, he literally takes the best care of my clients. Him and his team, they literally pull rabbits out of hats, and I sincerely appreciate that. And oh my gosh, I'm just so excited that he's here, and y'all are in for a real treat. Yeah, Brian, so what's been up in the mortgage world these days? Anything interesting?
Yeah, the business is good. It's hot. Rates are still really low. We're seeing a lot of people continue to convert from renters to being homeowners. That's really the American dream. And what we want to do is, we want to make people happy. We want them to be one of our success stories, and we want to get them to the finish line. The main thing is just really setting an expectation, going through their needs, talking about their goals, putting a smile on their face, and really making it happen for them.
Brian, how old are you?
35.
35. He's one of us. He's one of us, y'all. and this man is doing it. He is doing it big, and like, I mean, I don't just let anybody on this show, but I really want to make sure like who I have here is legit, and you're gonna be getting the right information. And hands down, there is probably not one other loan officer that I would put above this guy. And so make sure your speakers are turned up. We're about to give you some good information on, really how you can get banks to lend you money. And I mean, it's so much more than you would believe. Like, just because you have money in your bank account, or you've been renting, paying $1,300 for a 1-bedroom, and you can get a mortgage for cheaper than that, doesn't mean a bank is going to lend you money. And so there are certain qualifications, and there are certain things that you need to know. And this isn't going to be that like boring talk. You're not going to be boring, are you, Brian?
Not at all.
Okay.
We'll let people know the real deal and have fun with it.
Right. So this isn't going to be that boring talk. This is going to be the real deal. How you can get a bank to lend you $100-something thousand, or however much you want.
$1 million bucks if they need it.
Right, $1 million. Who wants $1 million house? Again, subscribe if you want $1 million house. I might buy you one. No, I'm totally just kidding. But yeah, it's gonna be that real stuff. So stay tuned. We're gonna go on a short little break here, and I will be right back with you, and we're gonna get into it. You're in here on the Millennial Mover Series podcast.
So you've been listening, and now you think you're ready. You're ready to buy your first home. Now is the time for you to make that investment. But are you sure you're ready? Are all of your questions answered? Before you go diving right in, I have something for you. It's a free course, and it's titled Help, I Want to Buy a House. It's available on my website at chastenjmiles.com. Best part about it is it's free. It's free for you to go and get it right now. This 6-part video series answers all the questions you want to know. I mean everything, including the home buying process, the mortgage process, and I even talk about down payment assistance programs. This free course is intended for you. Go ahead and take advantage of it now. To enroll in my course, Help, I Want to Buy a House, just visit my website at chastenjmiles.com. Again, that's chastenjmiles.com.
All right, what up? We are back on the Millennial Mover Series podcast, where today we are talking about how to get a bank to lend you money. And I'm here with Brian McCauley of the Oak Group. Say hey again.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Hey, so we're about to get into it. Thank you for tuning in again. And I want to dive right in, Brian. I want to actually start off talking about credit. Is that all right?
That's a key component to buying, man. So let's make it happen.
Yeah, so talking about credit, I mean, a lot of the listeners of this show are definitely millennial age. Some have, zero credit. Some have bad credit because they were in college and got sucked into credit cards and student loans and stuff like that. So I just want to talk a little bit about credit, but let's start with the people who don't have credit. What kind of advice could you tell somebody to hopefully purchase a home in the near future and they have zero credit, like no credit score?
Yeah, no, man, that's a good question. So, you guys understand that I'm a human being first. I've had no credit, I've had bad credit, I've had good credit. So I've walked the walk as well, and it's one of those things to where if somebody doesn't have credit, how is a bank going to judge them? They got nothing to judge them off of because they're basically a blank sheet of paper. So people start thinking, well, I want to make something happen, I've got no credit, where do I start? There's a couple different directions you can go. The first thing I would say is you can go get some type of prepaid credit card to start establishing some type of credit, to get some history, to get a credit score and get everything going. The best thing that I can do for you is if you rent, I can get your rental history converted and updated at the bureau level, which will give you some nice history and it'll give you a good credit score. So there's a bunch of different things that I can do, but it all just depends upon your situation. But I would say your rental history and a prepaid card would get you off on the right foot.
So getting a prepaid card, and like I'm guessing like a prepaid card is one of those that you see in the grocery store and you put money on ahead of time, and then you're able to. I mean, that's your credit limit, right? That's what a prepaid card is?
Yeah. So what I do is I call it a starter card. And what it means is as opposed to you going to a regular bank and saying, hey, give me $10,000, I'll prove myself to you later. I'll make the payments to get everything going. That's a general card. A starter card is these banks will give you a credit card, but you have to preload them. So you say, hey, here's the deal. I'm going to put $500 up, and then they'll give you a card. And so you can't spend more than you actually preload. And so what happens is when you preload it, you get everything started, you can't get yourself out of bounds because you're fronting the money. And you do that for 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 months, improve yourself. And then what they do is they look at your history and they start saying, oh, okay, well, this guy or girl can make it happen. They're keeping their word. So we'll extend them out and give them some of our own credit, 500, 1,000, 2,000, whatever it is. And so you start out small, but you build up. But you set the limit, you prepay the money, you get things going, and then once you prove yourself, they give you the benefit of the doubt, and they start to open up a credit line for you.
So with proving yourself, I mean, is there a certain way of doing this that you recommend? Like, how much do I need to spend on it? I mean, how much money do I need to load on it, or is it just whatever?
Yeah, so I think the main thing that you want to prove to people is that you're going to keep your word. And your word to them is, hey, if I charge something, I'm going to pay you back on time. That's part of proving yourself. So as long as you show them you're charging things on the credit card, you're doing certain type of activity, if you pay it back on time, you're keeping your promise to the lender, so that establishes trust. Another key component of quote-unquote proving yourself is not really just paying the card, but it's not maxing the credit card out every single time that you have it, because paying it on time is definitely good, but utilizing it and maximizing it out isn't as good either, because then they're going to say, well, yeah, you're paying it on time, but it's only $10 in a month. You need to keep the balances low once in a while to show the bank that you're not relying on that credit card for everything all the time.
Right, so don't go to Gucci and buy up the store on your secured credit card.
Or if you do, and you got to have those Gucci loafers, make sure and make more than the minimum payment, because the banks can see when it was active, how much you put on it, and how much you actually paid down. So make sure and give them the impression or the understanding that you're more than just a minimum payment person. Even if you got to pay a little bit of extra, just know that you're doing it for a greater purpose, which is to get a home, and so you got to show your cards a little bit more in the beginning.
Nice. So sounds easy enough. You know, what I'm getting from it is you just got to be disciplined because you're entering into this credit realm. So get the secured card and really work on that. Do you recommend just getting one, or should we get multiple? Or?
Yeah. What I would do, I would start out with one, maybe two, but I think if you do a combination of a prepaid card and getting your rent verified, that'll get you some good trade line history. It should get you some strong B, maybe A- credit, which will get you a home loan for sure. If you have specific questions like, hey, what card should I get? Should I do this one? Should I do that one? Because some of them are harder than the others. Some of them don't report to all the credit bureaus. Some do. Give me a call, and I'll send you some links, and I'll walk you through the ones that are the strongest and the fastest that'll get you up and running the quickest.
Nice. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. On the other hand, though, let's go into the dark side.
Uh-oh.
You ready to go to the dark side? What about if I was in college and I was a bit reckless and I applied for a bunch of credit cards, messed them all up, and have student loans on my record, have all kinds of stuff on my credit report? How do you think the best way about like going and getting your credit restored or fixed, or what do I need to worry about? You know, just all that. I don't even know where to start. It's so messed up.
So let me start here. I was in college. I was reckless. I think we all were at some point in time, and it happens. I mean, you got to be fair to yourself. Not everyone's perfect, but the good news is it can be fixed. It can be corrected. It can be resurrected. If you've got challenges, no matter what the question is, or you got problems, give me a call, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set you up with my credit attorney. And the reason I use him is because this dude is a literal expert. I've been using him for 4 years. He's never failed me. Now, that doesn't mean that he can fix everybody, but when he says he can, he does. The most important thing is don't get your information off Google. Don't get your information from a friend of a friend of a friend. Get it from an expert so we can get it right and we can get it taken care of. This dude doesn't miss. He can clean up problems. He can set a timeline and a cost for you, and we can get you there. It's just a matter of how quick can we actually get you there.
Nice. Okay, perfect. So the best advice for that would just be to speak with you so you can put them in touch with.
Yeah, because I don't want people going to the wrong people. You know, there's a lot of fly-by-night credit repair companies or billboards out there, and they're not really experts. And on top of that, you know, what's really important about credit is banks have loan guidelines that don't allow certain practices that certain credit repair companies do. And I'm not knocking them, but sometimes they will do certain things that are quick fixes to get your FICO scores up or try to clean a few things up, and they violate bank rules. So as a consumer, I get it. I'm a human first. Like, you may just call somebody off a flyer, but at the end of the day, if that doesn't get you into a home or get you your keys because it's not the right way to do it, it doesn't benefit you. So I use an attorney only, because he knows the law. He gets it done, but he also does it where it won't violate mortgage rules. And that way it ends up getting you a good credit score, cleaning up the profile, and you can still get a home loan.
Dang. All right. That was some knowledge for y'all. I mean, because that was even a little knowledge for me. Yeah, because you're right. Like, every time you turn on the TV or even driving down the highway, you see billboards and commercials for credit repair. And like, I'm not about to talk bad about any company particular, but I'm pretty sure if you're listening to this show, or if you even listen to the radio or watch TV, you've seen some commercials about credit repair companies. And so you just want to make sure you get the right information. And so that, I mean, the best way for that sounds like to speak to you, Brian. So
yeah, no, I mean, and I'm I got plenty of people that I could tell you that aren't good, but I'm not a hater, so I keep my mouth shut. I'm a winner, but I'll send you to people that'll win, that'll make it happen, that'll get you squared away, but they'll do it the right way, because you can't blame a consumer if they don't know that they're going to go off something off Google, something off a billboard. And I see too many horror stories where people will come to me after they've been to the wrong credit repair company and they think things are all good, and it's not all good. And the last thing I want to be is the bearer of bad news, man. I'm good cop. I'm on your side. So if you let me lead from the jump, I'll get it taken care of for you.
That's so awesome. I think just like hearing that, I feel like we need to have a show just on credit repair and like credit repair companies. So tune out. I mean, just look out for that, because it's gonna come. Don't you think that's a good idea?
For sure, man.
Yeah, definitely. All right. I want to kind of shift over a little bit. I want to talk about like bank accounts and money and just managing money. Because that's a big thing. I mean, we can get money from all over the place. I mean, we can get money from friends, family. We could have a little side job outside of school, or we can do all kinds of stuff. But really, for like mortgage companies and to get a home loan, doesn't it come down to what's on paper, right?
Yeah. No, and that's the challenging part, man, because with mortgage companies, everything is what you can document. But not only what you can document, what the bank will allow you to document. And the crazy thing is, like, everybody has lives, right? People that are in the service industry, they're bartenders, waitresses, they got tips, they make money, but they don't show it. People that play poker, whatever, they make money, they don't show it. So a lot of people have it, and a lot of people can afford it. But the weird thing is, you got to be able to show it, and you got to be able to prove it. And it's not what you think showing and proving is what the bank actually wants to see. Remember, this isn't a bank-to-bank rule anymore. This is a federal rule nationally. So it's not like it changes from one bank to the other. If you go down the street, the government has nixed that. So you can't just go from McDonald's to Jack in the Box's menu. It's at a federal level. It runs down to all banks, and this is the rule these days. So you got to know the rules, you got to document it right, and you got to have your ducks in a row. And that's what I'm here to do, is to help kind of drive an expectation and set clarity of, hey, this is what they want to see and why. So if you got it, it's all good. And if you don't, we can set it up to where you can document it, so that way when the time comes that you need to get a home loan, you have everything proven and it's on paper.
Yeah, nice. So, like, as far as documenting go, though, what's the best way that I can make my account look? I know that there are certain things that can, just working in the industry for a while, there are certain things that can really disqualify you for a loan, or can make a bank kind of look down on it. Like, those things on your account. Well, I'm gonna just put it out there. Let's just talk about overdrafts. How do banks feel about overdrafts on your account?
Yeah, so they don't like them. I mean, obviously nobody likes overdraft. The person that is overdrafting the money and the people that are looking at it, you got to think about it this way, right? So you think about from a bank's perspective, an underwriting perspective. An underwriter's kind of like a judge. They're making a decision on the deal. So if you are an underwriter and you're looking at somebody's bank account and they're overdrafting all the time, what that's going to tell you? They're low on money and they don't know how to manage their money. So it's not a deal killer guaranteed, but it just adds to the entire story. So you got to pay attention to your cash flow and your activity. If you're running thin all the time and you're overdrafting all the time, it's going to bring up a red flag and tell the bank, man, this person is having challenges and problems right now. If we throw a house and a house payment in the mix, what else is going to happen? So one of the pain points up front that you want to to avoid, if you're having issues, make sure and clean up your activity. Banks just want to see the last 60 days of activity. So if you got some hiccups, you need to kind of tap the brakes, slow things down, and make sure and get your account balances and your overdrafts in order. So that way when the banks are looking over the most recent 60 days, if you have overdrafts, we need to clean those up, let those pass, get some new fresh months in activity where you got some good balances and no overdrafts.
So 60 days, I mean, I really like that. So overdrafts is definitely a big thing. So y'all just try not to have any overdrafts. Now, as far as like what the bank is looking at, let's move over to like deposits and stuff like that. Like, I know you said verified or sourced income, whatever you said earlier. I don't remember what the word was, but how do banks like to see you receiving money?
Yeah, that's a great question, man. So everybody receives money a different way. The best and easiest way is somebody that just works on a regular salary or an hourly wage. Most of the time, they get direct deposit. So they get their check, their company direct deposit into their account. It's really easy to document that, right? You work at a store, you make X amount of money. Let's just take, for example, let's just use Banana Republic, right? You're a rep at Banana Republic, you make X an hour, and then your direct deposit says Banana Republic. It's easy to tie that in. But the problem is that banks just don't want you to have the money in the account. So you just can't give me a bank statement that says I've got 20 grand in there. The bank is going to look at all the activity as well, good and bad. So if you work at Banana Republic and you've got 20 grand in your account, but within the last 60 days, you've got 3 or 4 other random deposits and they can't tell what they're from, they're going to ask you about them. They want to document those. They want to source those. And if they can't document them and they can't source them the right way, they're not going to let you use them. And you think, well, why? That's stupid. It's my money, right? I sold my TV. I made some money playing poker. I did this. I did that. Whatever. We all do. I do as well. I get it. Human beings just interact in certain ways and they have money other than their mainstream job. The downside is you have to remember that banks assume the worst. They think that money's borrowed. They think that money could be a realtor or somebody else from the transaction putting money into your account to make it look like you've got more than you actually do. So when the banks are looking at you as a whole, they're saying, well, this dude's got 20 G's. Well, if 8 of those were actually borrowed from somebody else and they give them right back after the deal's done, they really don't have as much money in the bank. So to your point, yeah, they want to document everything. And if it's not a regular direct deposit type deal, just be prepared to explain yourself. But I tell people, if you're in a business or an industry to where it's harder to document than just a mainstream regular salary or hourly person, don't put that money in the bank. I would just put the cash in your pocket. I would spend it on your normal bills, cashier's checks, or anything outside of your transaction history, so you don't have to explain yourself just for that 60-day time frame, because obviously the less paperwork, the better for everybody.
So can I not get money from my mama to buy a house? Or you're not saying that?
No. You can get money from your parents. You can get even money from your employer. Just the thing about it is you have to document it. So if your mom's going to give you $1,000 to help you out with a down payment, don't have her give you cash. So just understand that if she gives you $1,000, it needs to be in a check. It needs to be a transfer from her account. You have to be able to go back to your mom or the source or whatever and say, hey, here's the check with her name on it. Here's the bank statement where it came from, so on and so forth. So the intention can be all good. You just have to make sure that whatever you say, you back it up, and you have to be able to prove it.
Nice. So pretty much you need to have a paper trail for everything.
Yes, sir.
Matter of fact, I think like some of those banks are doing that now. Like, you know how back in the day you could just go and deposit cash in someone else's account? Nowadays for some banks they don't even let you go and just put cash in somebody else's account. They want a check or something that some form of paper to kind of show it. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, man, they passed this law called the SARS, S-A-R-S. It's called Suspicious Activity Reports. And so anytime you've got something like that that's a little bit of a one-off, they're trying to put all this red tape and these guidelines in place to protect from that, for money laundering and terrorism and things like that, which we know, obviously, I mean that happens. But for your traditional everyday millennial person that's just making moves, having fun, and living life, that gets in the way and it causes more pain than it just should. So just be mindful when you're doing stuff outside of the mainstream. Always document it. And if you have any questions on stuff like that, call Chase and call me. We'll walk you through it and we'll get it taken care of the first time around. Because once you let the cat out of the bag, it's really hard to put it back in.
Yes, we got you on this end. So yeah, give us a call. I have a question, and I think everybody's gonna like this because obviously we're millennials and we we like to do things. We like to make money any kind of way that we can. And so I know a lot of me and my friends, we have small businesses on the side, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners of this show have some type of business or something like that. So how is it different from I'm a business owner versus I work a job and they have me direct deposit?
Yeah, no, that's a good question, man. So the way a bank looks at a regular Joe or regular Jane that works at Banana Republic, or they work at a corporate company and they get a salary or hourly wage, they look at that it's guaranteed, right? So, hey, the company guarantees them, in theory, a $40,000 base. It's paid bi-weekly, so on and so forth. It's easy. It's easy to track, and it's understandable. There's a contract. When you're a business owner, no matter what you do, no matter what your hustle is, you could own T-shirts, you could sell chickens, you could run a consulting company. It doesn't matter. You're self-employed. You're a business owner. So they want to see what the business is doing, and the way they do that in the mortgage business is they document it via tax returns. So, of course, that's a hard thing, right? Well, tax returns don't always show the whole story. Well, it is what it is. I mean, a bank can't say what somebody's worth unless they look at it on their tax returns. And I know there's a ton of people in the world that don't show it, but they're worth it. But the hard part about it is you got to show it. So for a self-employed person, you got to be mindful of how you file your tax returns, what you show, and what your write-offs are, because that comes into play big time for a business owner when you go to qualify for a loan. So again, any questions about that stuff, it gets a little bit tricky depending upon the type of business too, whether it's a partnership, sole proprietor, LLC, S Corp, C Corp, all those different type of businesses fall into different loan categories. So I'm not going to bore you with that mumbo jumbo. Again, if you get into a twisted situation, call Chasten, call me, I'll untwist it for you.
Yeah, so with them taxes though, y'all, you might not want to be at a loss every single year if you're trying to buy a house, because that's going to definitely work against you. Because it gets crazy. Yeah, especially when you bring taxes in, because that's a whole different ball game, and we'll talk about that at a later date. But I just want to make sure, everybody, you just got to document everything. And just working as a realtor, I kind of see the stuff that a loan officer asks, my buyers. They're going to ask you for everything. Like, they're going to get all deep in your business and all deep in your money. So
and that's one of the things you have to remember. It's not personal. It's strictly business. So when I ask you about this deposit and that deposit, the first thing you need to realize as a loan officer is I'm your lawyer. I'm good cop. I'm on your side. The only reason I'm pushing you for paperwork is because the government's pushing everybody for it. So we do it the right way up front and get it all done, and we'll have fun with it. But just know that I'm going to ask for stuff, but it's not because I want to. Trust me, my job, I wish I had less paperwork. The last thing I want to do is ask more people for paperwork and cause problems. But if we do the homework up front and the heavy lifting the first few days, it makes the rest of the transaction smooth. So no matter the challenge, we'll make it right, but let's just get it taken care of up front.
Nice. I am feeling so good about this, y'all. I hope you really got some good stuff from this episode. Brian, thank you. That was some good stuff you had right there. Replay this and play it for anybody else who needs to hear this type of stuff, because this is the stuff that I wish people would take into consideration and listen to ahead of time, because everybody gets so focused on, I need this credit score, or I make this much a month so I can afford this house for this. But there's so many things behind the scenes that you need to make sure that you're doing ahead of time before you get in the car looking at houses, or before you actually start the process. Because I mean, if you mess up one of these things, you really need to speak with somebody to see if you can get it corrected before you really throw it all off. So share this episode, and it's some great information. Brian, is there anything else you want to tell everybody? Or
I appreciate you guys listening. As a millennial, or former millennial, I'm getting a little bit older, but I'm still in the game.
You're a millennial.
Yeah. I'm still in the game. I would tell you to just make sure and reach out to Chasten or myself. I think one of the best things you can do is hear from us. Let us walk you through it. We'll give you the real blueprint. Don't assume. Don't Google. Don't ask your friend, even though they might have one piece of information. It's not the whole pie, and that's what Chasten and I got, and we want to serve it up to you. So give us a call. We appreciate you. Hope we talk to you soon.
Definitely. So if you want Brian's information, just visit me. Just go to my website, chastenjmiles.com, and I will have his information on there for you to fill out a form and contact him. Definitely. Again, I can't say any more nice things about this person and his team, and I mean, just the information that he provided to you today is reason enough to leave an amazing review, call him out, follow him on his social media channels. I will have all of those on my website, and share the show and subscribe. Whether you're watching from YouTube, listening on Stitcher, SoundCloud, whatever you are, subscribe to this because I got some amazing stuff coming that you don't want to miss. Thank you for tuning in to Millennial Movers series, and I will talk to you next week.